This has been Salt Lake City's baseball corner for 80 years. This is the third Palace of Baseball to stand here. We go back to the days of the first. Yes, before there was this park, and even before there was Dirks Field, and the Trappers,
Let's go.
and the Galls, there was this, Community Park. In the 1930s, the original Salt Lake Bees played here, and shortly after that, Artistes started selling popcorn for 5 cents and Cokes for a dime, all at Community Park.
When you are under excitement like that, you eat more than you would at home. You go to the ballpark, you eat a bag of peanuts, 2 or 3 hot dogs, and a couple of pop. If you do that at home, you die of indigestion.
It was a great way to spend a day with the Bees. They were our boys. Most grew up playing ball in warm southern states and had never been to Utah before the nights at Community Park. One man who sat in the old rickety press box remembered them. The late John Mooney, the legendary Tribune sports editor, says the players were generally homesick.
They were so happy to see a newspaper guy that asked them a question that we used to have to almost drive them out of the office. They'd be up here all the time. They didn't have any money, and they'd want to come up and look at the newspaper files and look at the negatives, see if their picture was in the paper.
But then the scoreboard was blank. The war came and minor league baseball was suspended. However, Community Park was not empty. The military started playing games to support the war effort. And thus we would have maybe the greatest baseball night in Utah history. Soldier Joe DiMaggio and his Santa Ana Air Base would play the Salt Lake Air Base. The great Yankee Clipper, now Sergeant DiMaggio, would be here in person. Oh, there was a parade through town. The papers couldn't get enough of this. The Tribune showed his eyes, his grip, and his stance. This could not have been bigger. You couldn't have squeezed another fan into the place.
We had one of the largest crowds ever in Community Ballpark. We had to seat them out around the fence. There were over 8,000.
And oh no, the Salt Lake Air Base pitcher got scared and kept walking, one of the game's greatest sluggers that everyone had come to see.
First time up at bat, DiMaggio comes up, there's 2 men on base, and they walked him. I thought we were going to have a riot. Anyway, he did get a couple of hits.
It was another night at Community Park, a place where people ate peanuts and watched ball games.
There were cracks between the wood planks that people sat in, and people in eating peanuts at the time would drop shells down between the cracks in the boards, and if a person at that time would drop a match or a cigarette, the peanut shells would start smoldering, and we had water handling in a bucket, and they would warm up and dump the bucket on the plank.
And one night the bucket was not enough, and Community Park burned to the ground. So the city built a second park, Dirks, but that is another memory for another time. Baseball. It's a game you watch in the present, but you certainly think about the past. Craig Wirth, ABC 4 News.